Okay, so we're going to pick up where we left off earlier. This is all part of some testing I'm doing, nothing too serious. I was broadcasting earlier this morning and I noticed that Facebook dropped about 3 minutes in, but I didn't notice that until much later. And I also was looking at some of the stream stats, trying to understand what was going on. So let's see if I can get a little bit further with this right now. The other part of this test is to see how VCV Rack performs. Again, we are using VCV Rack on a Mac, and the most important setting I have found for being able to streamcast with this live is to set the application to open in low resolution mode. This is kind of a hidden feature that you can only set on the application itself, so you have to go to the application folder. You can't set this on a shortcut. It's because it's not there. But once you do set that, it will put the application in a mode that's a little bit more blurry. But since I'm zooming in, it's going to be fine. It's not as crisp, but it's all right. So earlier I compiled this little test device here, and I went through in a little bit more detail different things about what I'm using here, but I'm not going to recap that. I'm just going to keep going. So we basically have a clock going to a sequence, which is going to a quantizer, going to an oscillator, and I have that panned to the left. I have another output from the same oscillator panned to the right just a bit, so we should have a full stereo signal there. And then I have a third voice coming off of this other oscillator. And there's some other stuff going on. This oscillator here is getting modulated by this device here. So this device here is providing a constantly changing value. I'm actually using that for both of these modulators. So simple sequence, nothing too crazy. But let's see what happens. Let's keep that sequence. But let's change the clock for this whole thing. So I'm going to put this back here. So we'll divide that whole thing. Or we could speed it up. Crazy. Polka! So not too exciting, but so we can stop that. And so one of the things I want to see is, as I make this patch bigger, what do I lose? Do I lose fidelity on the audio? Does the video start to crap out? So we're going to add a couple more things here to see if we can crash it. So we're going to add some drum module stuff. And if we want to run, let's say we run this clock off of, we'll make that run twice as fast. Sorry, let's mute that. Gonna run that sequence we had off of a multiplied clock. We're gonna put this clock back, and we're gonna get a kick drum going in here. And I'm going to run the kick drum individually so that it's, there we go. So now I've got a kick drum. Yeah. All right. So here's our kick drum. This is one of the volt modules. It's pretty good. Some noise. There's the oscillator. Depends on how you want to have that sound. Let's see. We'll leave that alone. So I could duplicate this. I don't have this tuned. So it's almost AC. It's really jumping around though. Yeah, we'll kind of leave it there. Alright, so we're going to mute that, and I want to get some other, get rid of this. So what I've been doing is usually put my kick as a separate signal so that I can have separate control over that, but then if I want other drum sounds, I'll put those in here. So this is just a very quick drum thing. So let's duplicate this. Oh, actually no, let's do, that's the open hi-hat and the hi-hat. So we can have those. And we're going to jump back to, back here we have this sequencer. We're already using these triggers and these gates here. If I want to, I can make use of those same gates and triggers, but I want to mix it up a little bit. So I'm going to use this expander here. And I'm going to see how we get, how we do here. I'm going to gonna pan this stuff. So now by submixing this, I get an opportunity to treat this like its own kit. Okay. Oh. Yep. And let's use, we'll mute that a second because it's annoying. And then we're going to take, let's see if we can make use of this trigger over here. I think this will still trigger this. So for wherever there's not a gate, I'm going to do a trigger. And we'll get a trigger off of that, and we should get a sound. There it is. Really don't like this. Now we can that's probably fine. Now, do I want to... Let me try some. In one of the other projects I did, I took advantage of this choke control, so you could cut that short when something else is playing. But we'll leave that there. So we've got our... And we put some reverb. Her voice is back. So let me pop over to my stream thing and see what's going on. So Facebook's still working, YouTube is still working, Twitch is still working. If I jump over to my Facebook account, It says it's live for 13 or 12 minutes, so that's good. It's working. All right, good. Let's close some of this other stuff we don't need. All right. All right, so I've got 3 more channels here. I mean, I got a lot more channels, but 3 more that aren't being used for anything at all. So, and I've got a couple more places I can add some percussion, but let's add a completely other sequence, and we're going to get rid of some of this other clutter. And let's see if we can do, what's another... VCO. Again, this is mostly for testing purposes. Well, let's just use another macro oscillator. You could use this thing for months and not actually get through all of the possibilities that it has. So we're going to also create another couple sequences here. So this is the GOD6 ions, which is a really cool sequencer, and I'm going to kick this off from... We're going to make this go nuts here. Let's go by 4 for now. I'm going to randomize the values. I'm going to quantize this by duplicating this quantum. And let's see what we get first. Okay, so... Okay... What am I doing wrong? Let's turn here. Oh, I see what I'm doing wrong. Okay. Okay. we can duplicate this. Alright, so this is where I can't do two inputs there. So this is where we would want to use, we might want to use, depending on what we want to do, the switch. So I can bring the switch in here. We're going to bring both of these so we got two sequences of different kinds. We're going to put this down to 2. So we have 2 different ones. The output of that's going to go over to the quantizer. And in order to switch between these, we want something that's going to randomly do that every now and then. And so this is where this divided clock comes in handy. So every 8 or divided by 8, it will do either of these. So it's 50-50. It becomes like a Bernoulli gate at that point. And then we're going through this. Let's get this other voice up here. And I'm going to purposely make this a stereo device. And we're going to get the other, here we go. But I'm going to use a different voice over here. I might like that enough to keep it on its own. I can always pan this here. I think I get more out of it. So let's see here. Okay, still alive. Okay. So maybe flip one of these. Alright, let's get some effects on those. That's 4 and 5. 4. This reverb is really crazy. So now it's more like a space polka. So I like to add some modulation on that. So there's quite a bit you could do there. Save this. Oh, and then let's put everything together with the percussion I made. Yeah. Now, you'd want to probably make this modulate throughout a different chord structure. It's very repetitive right now, but just for demonstration. So I'm pretty happy with OBS right now. Is running very smoothly. The audio seems to be coming through. I'll know later when I look at the recording I'm making. So now I'm in Facebook and I'm jumping over, so you might hear a glitch there. Demonstration. So I'm pretty happy with yeah, so if I jump around and do other things in my browser, I'm likely to get some glitches, but if I'm just sitting here working in VCV Rack, it's actually pretty good. Again, the key to making this work was the open and low resolution mode that you need to do from the application folder. So thanks for listening to my Space Polka, and we'll be back later with something else.